Deadlines are coming up for paperwork. If they haven't passed already, make sure you read every email to find out exactly what it is you have to hand in and exactly when it's due. Because of COVID, I understand doctors may not be able to get you in right away to get your physicals. Make sure you guys communicate that with your supervisors. You know, because the first thing, I know a lot of you guys are, you know, kind of new to the Division I stuff.
When is that due?
I have no idea. Depends on who you work for.
Oh, sure.
Most of them, like a couple were due October 1st. Some of them are due November 1st.
Yeah, it depends who you're working for. That's why I say every email you get, don't just assume you know what's going on. Don't just assume, oh, I know what this email reads because.
Yeah. If you stay on front,
I will say, Patty had her one of her meetings today, and she is expecting all of her officials to have their physicals in before the season starts. So that's November 25th.
Okay.
All right. So today we're gonna start. That's housekeeping. So today we're gonna have Bobby and Alyssa. You guys are gonna present.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Ready as it gonna be, brother.
My man. All right, Rachel. Bobby, take it away.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready to rock and roll? All right. Good evening. I'm Bobby Ray. It says Robert up there, but that's my professional name. You know, we've been tasked, Alyssa and I, to talk about legal guardian position and how I like to work and do these breakdowns and how I think it's most effective and how it's worked best for me is that it be interactive. You know, that we just don't sit and me show slides and give you definitions and then roll on. I don't think we learn best that way. I don't. And don't be shy on here. You know, how I learn best too is saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. You know, Kevin, you and I spoke the other day about how this process and how we learn and all that sort of stuff. So don't be shy. There's not a dumb question. You know, at this point, if you have a question, you know, we're going to show, I sent 4 plays to Washoe to send out to everybody, you know, and hopefully those spark some dialogue. They cover 4 different areas of the guarding rule. So my first question before we get started, without looking at your books yet, is where is the guarding rule? Without looking at your books. Under what rule is it?
Rule 10.
10.
Rule 10, good job. Real good job. All right, so if you didn't know that right off the bat, you know, after they sent the plays out, you know, you're not doing yourself a good thing by not being aware of having some idea of where it is. I mean, I don't know exactly where every rule is, but I'm to the point now where I understand the rule book because I've been in it and it's taken time to get there. So let the rule book be your friend. You know, get in there and learn the terminology so you can develop a foundation so you can now adjudicate calls based on these rules. Okay? All right. So we'll get going. Go ahead, Alyssa. What do you got to say?
No, I just agree with what you were saying. When Bobby and I have talked multiple times this week, and for me, I just kind of like explained to him how I prefer to learn, and it's all visual. Like I would rather see a play and then break down the rule according to what I just saw. So then Bobby sent me probably like 13 clips throughout the week, and we got on the phone and broke them down. It was just so helpful. So I'm really, I guess, excited for all of you guys to just kind of see what we had chose based on the LA or RA, LDB, and legal guarding position rules.
You know, so I don't think we need to be basic and me need to ask you what the rule is. You know, I think we're all at a level where we understand what legal guard is. But if somebody wants to say what it is, that is not Alyssa or I or Kevin or you know, Jen or Natasha. You know, somebody tell us what is legal guarding, first of all.
2 feet on the ground.
What is it?
2 feet on the ground, torso facing opponent.
Yeah. 2 feet on the ground, torso facing. You know, and that's generally, you know, that's what I base some other decisions on.
In bounds.
You know, when I do this. Jed, if you want to go ahead and just throw a clip up, I don't care which one. Which you got, whatever you got first. And then we can just kind of go from there. I think when you see clips, and Kevin's going to jump in here too on these clips, aren't you, Kev? And I think he's on the phone or something. But anyway, he's going to jump in here too and go a little bit more in depth on his what's next. So on this play here, let's just watch it, and then we can talk about it. All right, so we got to drive to the basket. Somebody break it down. I won't tell you what the call was or if we had a call on this play or not beforehand.
Each the first crack.
Who's up? Who wants to break this play down? I mean, I know it's a short clip, but start to finish here. What are we seeing on this play?
Defender is. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Defender did not establish leading guarding position, and they do body bump as they're moving A to B into the offensive player.
All right. Anybody else? They might have a different opinion.
This, Larry, the easiest one on this one is that they're not facing 2 feet on the floors. Nobody is faced up.
Okay. But at this point right here, is each person, are they entitled to their own spot on the floor at this point?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
But the defender belly out.
Yeah. Defender would have been fine had she slid with the player and not moved in.
Okay. Anybody else have any different thoughts on it? Would anybody have a no call in this play? Anybody?
I actually have a no call on that.
Okay.
I feel like in real life, in like game time, that I could go with a no call on that. I feel like I don't see a foul until I slow it down.
Okay.
And that might also be based on where the lead is on this particular play or the center are and what angles they're looking at. They might not be able to see that moving into the player situation.
Okay. So on these tight plays, and Kev, you can jump here on this if he's on here. Where's he at? Is he on here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Talk about, what I like to talk about, when I adjudicate this play is what is it that we look at or pick up to determine if the defender starts legal, stays legal, and ends legal. And what I like to look at is the feet and where they step and then where are they going to. Is the defender, is she staying parallel with her, and is the offense creating that bump? Or is the defense starting legal, and then they're going A to B, creating illegal contact? So that's just how I look at these type of plays. I was lead on this play, and then I end up having a foul on the play, And I think this play happened 2 years ago, but these are the plays that we have to base our decisions on the rule and make a determination. So, what do you have, Alyssa, on this play? What would you like to say?
Oh, I feel like I already said it. I said in real time, I feel like because I remember when you sent me this clip, I was just like, oh, like, I don't know if I necessarily see it. But when I heard other people's comments, like, yeah, like, does the defender kind of initiate the contact slightly? Yeah. I think when you break it down and you really apply the rule to the play, yeah, it's a foul.
Yeah.
So in applying it, but whoever's in charge, can you roll back to the very beginning of the play? All right, because it's a stop. Go when she gets the ball at the top. Because it's a very short clip. All right. So let's assume that up top, she established legal guarding position. All right. Let's say, because we pick up the play with the ball handler already on the move. So let's say Red has already established legal guarding position. What is she allowed to do? What is the defender allowed to do to maintain her legal guarding position? That's the most important thing. If we know what the defender can and cannot do, that'll make this play a lot easier. So someone tell me what the defender can do.
She
Allowed
does.
to move backwards and obliquely.
And laterally.
Laterally.
They can move obliquely. All right, obliquely, laterally. They can move backwards, correct, in order to maintain. They cannot move forward, correct?
Correct.
All
Well, they
right, so
can as
now,
long as they don't make contact. They can move
so now
forward.
if we referee the defender, if we referee the defender on this play, run it full time. You know exactly what they can do. Now, who still has a no call on that play? Don't all speak up. Who has a no call on this play? After knowing and concentrating on what the defender can and cannot do to maintain.
I
I
still
don't.
have a no call, but
still have
I
a-
tend to let them play a little bit. But I thought she did a pretty good job defensively
Okay.
of moving to maintain. Now I
Okay.
might feel differently if the clip were a little bit longer.
Okay. That's honest. Anyone else? No? All right. So let's help Janine out 1 second. Back it up just a little bit. Okay, let's stop. That's where she becomes illegal. Roll back, roll back, roll back. Okay, now, there she's legal. Let's go slow. She's legal. Oh, it can't slow down. But her left leg comes in and impedes the progress of the offensive player. She's no longer at that spot.
That right there.
She does, right there.
Before that, where she kind of bumps her out. She's straight, but her bottom, she kind of gives a thrust to her with her
Her
thigh.
left leg.
Yeah,
To bump her off.
exactly. So, just some little tidbits on that. You know, legal guarding. You have to know what they can and cannot do.
Right.
Go ahead, Bob.
You know, again, on this play too is I like to pick up feet and like I said, from the feet up, because a lot of times, what do the coaches say? She was straight up, coach. Yeah, she was, but she still went A to B and bumped her off her path. She was legal, but she became illegal when she went A to B through the defender. And that's like the terminology that comes straight from, you know, in the rule book. And that's the terminology I've developed. That's another thing for reasons to get in the rule book is pick out a few words that you can use, because you know the coach of the red team will say, what'd she do wrong? She was straight up. Coach, she was legal initially, and then she became illegal when she went A to B. And if he says something back, say, Coach, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that play. And he can't say nothing because you have given terminology straight from the rule book. And it's your interpretation. You know, so again, get in the rule book and look at these definitions and develop that jargon so you can diffuse a lot of situations.
Hey, Bobby, were you on strong side when this call was made?
Yeah, I'm boss. I'm right over here on this. It'll be baseline. On this side.
So how could we get this call right if it came from the C, right? That's what I'm just trying to think, because the C's or weak side may not see the A to B movement. So how can we get this call right?
Well, if C doesn't, say it goes down C side or outside the lane, you know, a step or two, and C can't see that, that's what, because now if you're lead, you're going to you should be pinched anyway. If it's a C side drive or outside the lane, you should be pinched in the paint anyway, or at least to the lane line, and maybe a step back. And you're picking up, you know, because your responsibility is going to be maybe a secondary defender if they slide over for help. And then if that's the one-on-one match, say it's just a one-on-one matchup drive, you know, my eyes are going to be on the red defender anyway. And then again, I'm still picking up her feet and the lower half of her body because, you know, I've cataloged this play a lot of times in our game where the players try to fool the referee because their hands are straight up, but they continue to walk players out.
Right.
Especially when they leave the floor, they bump them out of their thighs, and you can if you're patient too on this play, you can watch the offensive player's lower body, what happens to it when she gets bumped out. you know, if it was the white team creating contact, you would see the red team kind of going backwards, and now her leg is getting kicked out where she comes down out of balance. So either side, you know, you pick up. I like to pick up the defender's lower half and down,
Okay.
and then base them out of call on what happens. Being a little patient, you know, and then, you know, make a determination based on the rules. Anybody else have anything on this play here? Anybody have anything different that they look at? Is there anything that anybody else does from lead, strong side, or weak side on these type plays? They have any experience with these plays? Kevin or Tosh or Jan or anybody?
I think that it's important to always position adjust, and we'll talk about that a little in the what's next thing. But you always have to get where you can get to a position where you have an open look. You know, this is a game of angles. So as the play goes to the basket, you can't let paint dry under your feet. You can't let grass grow. You have to move, because as the play moves, that means the angle is going to move. So you have to, if you have an open look, you got to do whatever you have to do to maintain the open look. And also when refereeing the defender, if the defender causes contact that disrupts the offensive player's rhythm, speed, balance, or quickness, that is a foul. That is deemed illegal contact. Remember that. Rhythm, speed, balance, or quickness. So when the defender brings her left leg into the white player, she messes up her balance, which falls into the RSBQ, which is okay. Rhythm, speed, balance, and quickness. Her balance is, she's knocked off balance. That's illegal contact. Okay.
I would also add that your movement doesn't just have to be lateral on the baseline. Also position adjusting, meaning you can take a step back off the baseline to get a better angle. Or, you know, if it's a late rotation, then take a step into the paint. Don't stay there, but get the angle at that point that you need to see the contact on that defender.
Especially if you're vertically challenged, like, you know, like Jan.
Be short.
You know, yeah, well,
go
yes.
where you need to go to see what you need to see.
10-4, just like that. All right, let's go to the next one, bud.
All right, go ahead. So that was legal guarding. This play here, if we go to this is going to be an LDB play, and this should have two angles. Did I see both angles on this, Jen?
I don't know. Let me see.
Oh shit! I didn't see the baseline angle, but this will work. We'll be able to see the play.
Yeah, I think this is a better angle of the two.
Yeah. So plays will happen if you haven't watched them already over on the opposite block of where the ball starts. Eventually, in the LDB. All right, you can go ahead.
Nice.
Show that time.
It's not an LDB. It started in.
Okay, so hey, hold on, stop. So does everyone know what the LDB is?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone knows what LDB is. All right.
Somebody explain what the LDB is. Where is it? Where is it on the floor?
It's the two tick mark.
The two tick marks.
Tick marks, and we'll begin second.
That's what it's called in the
second.
book.
2 tick marks on the end line, and we'll go up to the second free throw line. Tick marks from the free throw line. It's an imaginary box.
Right there, the line, right where that splits the MAC logo, right? Yep. And then it goes out 3 feet outside each side of the lane. They're called 3-foot tick marks, right? So the ball's out here. Somebody break this play down. I don't want to break it down. I know. Somebody walk us through the play.
Pick somebody,
Let your partner do it.
All right, Alyssa. Tell us what we got, Alyssa.
Hey, Pam. Pam, you tell us what we got, Pam.
All right. Well, right now, speaking of the player with the ball, it's fuzzy. It's kind of fuzzy on my end. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So who has a good?
I saw the.
I can try and walk it through.
Whoops.
Okay. So Larry,
Now I can't see it at all.
Yeah, I'll go ahead, Kevin.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
The pass comes to the player. The pass comes to the player inside. Okay, so there's no LDB because the play started inside.
Okay.
Pass comes in. She's in there. It's regular defense at that point. That's what I'm seeing.
So there's no restricted area. Is that what I heard?
Which means
Right.
it's an LDB play.
Which
And
means
is
it
there
is an
another
LDB.
stipulation on LDB? It has to be secondary defender, not primary defender.
No, when the play
So let's just say it was an LDB, outside LDB.
right, when the play originates inside the LDB, the RA is off.
Right.
All right. So at that point, the RA is only for secondary defenders, correct?
Right. And in this case, we
Right.
have inside LDB and primary defender.
So inside the LDB, you're refereeing the defense. You're not trying to see if it's a secondary defender or a primary defender. You're refereeing the defender that's there. Okay, is that better for you guys? Jason, that better?
Yep.
Okay.
I guess I was just kind of working around, I know this play it's starting inside the LDB, but let's just say it happened to be outside the LDB. We still have to think about, is it a primary defender or a secondary defender? So it's kind of an extension beyond what this play really holds.
Right. Well, no, this is not a secondary defender play.
I know.
Okay.
But I know that comes into play when you start making your decision on, is the RA involved or not?
Okay.
I guess it would be, yes, Jason, if I get why you're adding it, is that the secondary defender identifying and tracking it is the responsibility of the lead.
Right.
Is that what you're, okay.
Yeah, I guess I was just kind of thinking, out loud, thinking, this play in particular happens to be starting inside the LDB, so the RA is out anyways. But just thinking if it happened to be, let's say it happened to be a drive from the wing, that's outside the LDB. Now, are we dealing with a primary defender or a secondary defender who's taking that collision or that contact? That has a play into how, I or we decide if we have an RA or not.
Okay. So if the play originates outside of the LDB, the RA is in play for secondary defenders.
Yep.
Okay. So the lead would be responsible for that secondary defender.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the lead would have to get an angle to where they would referee from the feet up and see, one, if the secondary defender is outside of the RA. Two, if the secondary defender has established legal guarding position. And then you have to know what the defender can and cannot do prior to the offensive player leaving the floor to attempt her shot. Okay?
Yep.
So, I mean, I know that's a lot, but the more you do it, the easier it will become because it's going to be second nature to you guys.
Yeah.
But you have to know what the basics of it are. You have to know what the basics are.
And what I like to tell myself from lead or from anywhere, if she's in, they can be in the RA. If they're out, they got to be out. In and in, out and out. Is the self-talk I'm giving myself on these type of plays. So, all right, let's go ahead. Let's watch the play through.
Is everyone clear on the LDB and the play starting in the LDB?
Yes.
Everyone's
Yeah.
clear on that.
Did this particular play start in the LDB? That's what I didn't get.
Yes.
This play started in the, all right.
Right, because what it is okay, you have play, the defender with the offensive player with the ball now. That's a play. She moves to the right. To the left. Now, this is another play right here. That's another play. That pass is another play. So now, this offensive player starts her play inside the LDB.
And oftentimes those plays are on slashing plays, post to post passes, that kind of thing, that happen bang, bang.
Right. So we'll break this play down a little bit more when I start talking about what's next and how we can get there and be prepared to referee a play like this before it happens. Okay, but for right now, what we want to focus on is LDB and RA. So does everyone understand why this is an LDB play?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Kevin, are you going to talk about the legal guarding position of this particular play later?
Bobby is.
Yeah, so let's get to that point. We determine it's an LDB play, right? So if we could roll it to that part, and then let's watch the defender to see if she starts and maintains her legal guarding once the ball received in the LDB. Now, I don't want to say, let's judge the call. What Kevin will talk about later about getting in position to make the call and all that stuff. But let's look at the defense. Somebody walk me through with using terminology, what the defender is doing. Who can do that? Fix the mic, Kev.
Alyssa.
The defender. Guard.
Yeah. Can you roll the play?
Do you want it in real time from the beginning?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I definitely think the defender establishes and maintains legal guarding position until contact, and that's when she goes down.
Okay. So you agree with the offensive foul call?
I do.
Does anyone have anything different? Knowing that this is an LDB play, does anyone have anything different? Does anyone think it's a block?
So because she hasn't received the ball yet, we also have to understand that she is a player, like, how do I want to word it? We judge legal guarding position differently when a player has the ball and when a player does not have the ball. So we have to be aware when she establishes possession, because if she does not have possession, then time and distance is at play, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So I'm just saying, we have to keep that in mind. So if, let's say it's like a pick and roll, she's rolling, if airborne, those are certain things that you should process in your head when thinking about these plays.
Right.
That's
a lot of times that's your first judgment. If, when because a lot of these the LDB plays are these type of plays where they're catching it and going for a quick move to the bucket.
Right.
They're getting led with the pass. They don't, and you got to make sure that the defender doesn't come in and set up with not giving them the chance to land. They have to give them time, let them catch it to land, and then determine. Now you base your judgment on legality of the defender versus the offensive player.
Jen?
Yeah.
This is LaRonda. And looking at this play, I'm not sure if I agree with the offensive foul, because it looks like that offensive player is in the air. when she's receiving that pass. So where did the defender give her space to land
Excellent question.
before we determined that the defender was legal, and now it is an offensive foul because the defender gave her space to land and she went through the defender. So in my opinion, looking at this play, I would have a block.
Can you play it one more time? Because I only want to see if the defender got to the spot first before the player was airborne.
It's tough,
Like
right?
simultaneous.
I would probably go with the block.
Yeah,
We'll go
is the contact happening after she catches the ball and then proceeds through? Or is the
Stop when she's
contact
catching.
happening while she's catching the ball?
Stop there. Or maybe a step sooner when she catches. See if we're
Right there.
Right there.
so what we got?
I feel like she's landed with the ball at that point, making a move towards the basket.
Is the defender legal?
Sure looks like it.
2 feet on the ground facing the offender, so yeah.
Okay, so can the defender leave her feet in her vertical space and go up to defend the shot
Yes,
Yes.
she can.
and remain legal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, roll it. So who created that contact?
Offense.
Oh, offense.
Awesome.
Right?
Also ask, is distance required with the ball handler or with ball control?
If you came to the conclusion that she had control of the ball, then time and distance is not in play. So that's why I'm like, I think you would just have to process when did you deem that she had control. I would say a little bit.
No, that's a
Again,
good
that's so hard in real time.
and we'll talk about things to make that easier.
Right.
Because I mean, right now it seems hard, but if we'll break it down and get into a what's next scenario with this play a little later.
Hey, Kevin, what I saw
wait.
also was the official was on the move.
Right. We'll talk. That's what we're going to get off into a little bit later. But we're going to
That
break
could have
this.
been there 2 steps earlier.
That was going to be my question on the positioning. You're going to cover that in your what's next.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to cover
All
that.
right.
Yeah. So let's go through another
All right,
legal
good
guard.
play. All right. All right, Alyssa, you're up. What you got? You can run this one.
All right. You to watch all the way through. All right, so play starts outside the LDB, meaning RA's on. Drive starts from top of the key. Defender is, from what I remember, I believe the defender is located outside the arc and gets pushed back inside the arc in legal guarding position. And there was a no call on the play, right?
Yeah, there's no whistle on the play.
Am I right on her feet? No, she isn't.
in.
No,
RA.
she's
Looks like
inside.
her, looks like her toes
She's
are on
inside the
line.
RA. Okay. I'm personally okay with the no call. And I think that there's definite contact, but I think it was like vertical contact. I don't think it disrupted the play. I think the offensive player clearly went into the defender, and the defender just kind of absorbed the contact. What do you guys think? Would you guys call a
With
block
all
because
that,
of RA?
but with all that you just said, you also said that the defender is on or over the RA, correct?
Yeah, she is. So by rule, I mean, it started outside the LDB. She's on the RA. there was no call on it. I agree with the no call, but by rule, should it be a block?
Is the offensive player attempting a shot, or is the offensive player attempting to just dribble through the lane?
I was going to ask if secondary defender were they trying to take a block or charge, or were they trying to block the shot?
Exactly. What was the secondary defender doing inside the RA? Okay, wait. First,
I don't.
What
I think
is
if she was
the
trying to take.
Go ahead.
I say if I feel like if she was going to try to take a block or charge, she would have actually gone to the ground. I think she was mainly maybe trying to block the shot.
Okay. So what is allowed? First of all, in order for them to draw a charge with the RA in play, both feet have to be established out with heels on the floor, correct?
Right.
If they're on their toes and the heel is over the arc, then they're considered in, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. What if they establish outside of the RA and they're allowed to firm up? If they firm up and take a step back, is that legal? So if they get 2 feet outside of the RA, they land both heels outside, and then before contact, they brace their body for the contact, and in doing so, they step back into the RA. Are they considered in at that moment, or are they still considered out?
Out.
Out.
They're still considered out because they are allowed to firm up. Long gone are the days of players just being crash dummies.
Right.
So they are allowed to protect themselves. And in doing so, once they establish outside of the RA, then they can firm up as long as they're firming up. Now, if they take one step and then another step back, that's movement. That's not firming. But that one step to absorb the contact. And it can't be a step into them. It has to be a step back just to firm up for the contact. They're allowed to do that. Okay?
But Kevin, I have a question on that.
Yes.
So you said they're not allowed, if they didn't firm up, then they're at the wrong?
No, if they didn't firm up, call a doctor because they're going to be hurt.
Right. Yep. I was kind of thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, they still can retreat into or back a step or two, like you said, whether they're firming up or not.
Well, no, here's the thing. If they establish outside and then they back up into the RA with both feet prior to contact, now they're inside the RA because they've reestablished inside the RA, both feet, correct?
I think they're maintaining, they're not reestablishing. Am I wrong there?
They are maintaining, but once they maintain inside the RA, now for the purpose of drawing a charge, that's not allowed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not quite, because I don't see what they're doing in order to. I mean, they're not laterally, obliquely, or not towards the dribbler or ball handler.
Okay,
so if they're backing up, then they're not actually doing anything in violation of those 3 rules.
But if they back up prior to contact for the purpose of drawing an offensive foul, and they have reestablished inside the RA, that's a block.
You're cheating, smart. You're cheating.
You understand what I'm saying?
The word reestablish means that they've lost legal guarding position and they reestablish it rather than just maintaining it and staying with it into the RA.
Okay, so.
But you also can't have legal guarding inside of the RA.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Kevin, let me ask this. If moving 1 foot is considered firming up, moving both feet is considered reestablishing.
Correct.
There we go.
Correct. Thank you, Frank. Maybe I was saying, I appreciate you.
Okay.
Does that help, Jason?
Kind of.
What?
I'll live on with it. Yeah.
No, I need a yes because I don't want you in a game and then you make that call. You're like, well, Kevin Dillard, we're gonna get this thing right. do you understand So
'Cause I think I've actually had a play like this last year. Not exactly like this, but I mean the same situation where somebody establishes outside of the RA. Let's say both feet are just slightly in front of the RA, so they're out. And just as the play is coming at them, they maybe take a small half step or possibly even 2 half steps back towards the basket. You could say he or she is firming up for taking contact. It's not like they're just taking steps backwards, but I mean, I guess we have to kind of determine, is that a prepare for contact kind of thing, or is that just a step backwards?
Well, I would think in this instance, you could not play with their head or get inside their head, but think of the reason of why they're putting that 1 foot back. To me, that's going to brace. You're giving that solid. But if you take 2 steps back, that's not doing anything different than where you were. It's just putting you in a different location. So if you're putting yourself in a different location, which happens to be in the RA, that's still a block RA.
Right.
So it kind of has to go to the intent of the movement backwards.
So let's ask this question. Let's say the defender was out, she established out, and the same exact contact happened and she gets displaced, are we going to have an offensive foul?
She's out?
Say this play happens, but the defender establishes that she's outside the RA, and the same exact contact happens and the defender is displaced.
Offensive foul.
Okay. So what's the reason we have an RA? Why do we point to the RA when there's that contact happens? Why should we have called this a RA block and then point to the RA? Because what is that telling everybody when we point to the RA?
Let's say established defensive, but they're illegal.
The
Being in
reason
the
we
RA.
call it a block, if she was established outside, it would have been an offensive foul, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kind of clarifies it for me. And on this play, it should have. That's why I clicked this play. We had this discussion.
Hey, I just found this in the case book. This is on page 95. AR 311. A1 is dribbling the ball outside the lower defensive box. B1 establishes legal guarding position on A1 and moves to maintain their legally established position as A1 dribbles towards the restricted area. While B1 is located inside the restricted area, A1 charges into B1. This is an offensive foul on A1.
That's the primary defender. That's the primary defender. The RA is in play for secondary defenders.
True, this is A1 and B1. You're correct.
Right.
Yep.
So again,
trying to make sure I understand the full play, and all the things that come into play.
Only with secondary defenders, that's the purpose of the RA. It's secondary defender.
Yep.
Primary defender, there is no RA.
Yeah.
Primary defender, there is no RA. You can't run over.
I was gonna say the exact opposite. If you have an RA play, then you do not have a primary. Nope. Never mind. Got to mess up in my head.
All right.
Okay. Let's move on, I suppose.
So again, good play. I mean, good play to talk about.
Yeah.
We had a discussion on this play a while back, and we got to argue about impact of the play. Did it really, but you can't really get caught up in that. You got to call a play like it's supposed to be called.
Exactly. When
it gets down to it, we can't manipulate the rule because of the time of the game or who's playing and all that stuff. You got to be true to the rule and call it as it's supposed to be called.
So Bobby, what would she have had to do for you to think that she was going to block the shot?
Leave her feet.
Leave her feet.
Or if I see her cap the ball, let's say she caps it, or if the offensive player lunges and tries to go up through her arm or something like that, because she's not making like attempt. She's kind of standing there and kind of turns like ever so slightly. She's not really making an attempt on the ball. She's trying to be a distraction to the player.
Okay.
After watching it.
Okay, so she would have to leave her feet for.
Yeah, if she leaves her feet now, that same contact happens. That's legal.
Right, you're saying that she would have to leave her feet in order for you to deem that she's trying to block the shot?
Well, I'd say so. I think in real time. To me, I referee a little bit on field. and I'm seeing this. I see her. What she's doing. She's trying to get over there to get outside. I think and again, I ain't getting her mind, but this is, I see right there. She didn't get established. She firms up, and I didn't see her trying to make an attempt on the ball, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that's a very valid point what you just said, Bobby. She didn't make an attempt to block the ball.
Right.
Like she didn't go vertical. She didn't bring her hands down. She's not going for ball. She's going for body.
The body.
Right.
Okay.
She's trying to stop the offensive player from scoring.
Right.
And being the secondary defender, you cannot do that inside the RA. That is illegal.
Right.
This right here should have been a block.
Yep.
It should have been a RA block.
Because she's most likely just going in for a layup.
Exactly.
And now her rhythm is thrown off due to the contact.
Exactly. And it's early in the game. It's 2-0.
Yeah.
So if we call this a block, we have established that, yes, we are refereeing the RA.
Right.
And anyone inside the RA for the purpose of drawing a block or a charge is going to be penalized. All right?
Captain,
Yes.
I just want to note something, and you're probably going to mention this in what's next, but I just want to note it. Understand, on this play, you have to know your personnel in terms of your coaches. Regardless that it's by rule, you call a block in this scenario, understand Gino is going to have some comment towards you. Just be ready for that.
Yes. And if you're supported by the rule, then you're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But just be ready for the comment.
The verbiage of what she did not ever establish outside. She made no attempt to block the shot. That's why I had RA
That's
block.
it. That's it. Secondary defender inside the RA.
Right.
If he needs to know more, he needs to pick up a rule book and read. Secondary defender inside the RA.
He won't say shit beyond that. He'll say okay or whatever.
Yeah, but understand a coach is going to argue the point because there wasn't an impact on the play. So
Exactly.
we have to understand the next piece after this is the game management piece. You should expect the coach to react on this call because the impact to them was minor, right? But remember, this is the beginning of the game. You're trying to establish the tone for the game. So those are important things to keep in mind, and don't be surprised that a coach would react on this. I can tell you, if I'm calling an RA block on this, I know he's going to react, and I'm ready for it. And I'm also ready to answer it. But to be oblivious to that, I just don't think we're being good officials. We're not being good managers of the game.
Right.
I will add also to Natasha's point is that it may not have been an impact play for the defense, but it certainly was an impact play for the offense since she missed her shot.
Right.
Yep.
So just because one coach says it, or that's just one line of thinking, that's not the entirety of the play. Think of it as the entire, be circumspect.
Right.
Right. Because the other coach is probably going to start up on you for saying, why is that not a call?
Exactly. Because I'm willing to bet you that in the body of the game, this play is going to happen again. So are we going to wait till 4 minutes in the game to call it the right way? You understand what I'm saying? Now we've been inconsistent on that play because we can't let plays like that go for the next, 32 minutes.
Right. Now, if you're patient just a split second and she dumps it off to number 4 and that contact happens, would you still blow it?
Yeah, I still would.
I would not.
Right. So
I would not, because if I'm hitting my whistle at the point of her tossing it to 4 blue and white doesn't end up on the floor, I'm late. I missed it, and I got to deal with that.
Yeah, that's true. If white doesn't, because then you're looking at the next play, which is 4 going up and white not allowing her to land.
Exactly. So we have to be better on that play.
Yeah.
It's the one you just go, I missed it. You move on.
Referee each segment of the play for its own play.
Yeah.
You don't look at what's next all the time necessarily. All right.
And you're concerned with this matchup right here.
Right.
But in that same discussion, we also have to be aware of what 4 is going to do looking forward. If she moves up, she's definitely not going to pass because the only way she's going to do it is a horizontal pass, and there is no one there.
Right. So again, good place to think about, and just, the split second timing, the decision making in the split second, you just got to be, just know it. So, all right, we got one more.
I know.
This is a good play too. This is and we can talk about this one quickly, is the time and distance rule and making that determination. So we got team pressing, people slashing through the middle, defenders stepping in,
I would call that a block. She didn't have a chance to even react after being airborne. She basically landed and crashed.
Yeah, she didn't get 2 strides.
Right. Anybody else have any comments on this play here?
I would say, so 2 strides, yes, but it's also ample time knowing the speed and the speed of the players. So this one, I mean, it seems to me just in this clip, they're going pretty fast.
Right.
So the question I have for the group on this, what did the defender do wrong?
She just did not allow distance.
What did she not allow?
Time and distance.
Yeah.
There we go. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. She has to be able to make a move.
And then Kel will probably talk about how to get yourself in position to see what's going to happen in these type of plays and when teams are pressing and stuff like that. So
right.
That's a simple play. Just a good one, but it happens. And a lot of times they're 50-50. Sometimes we'll call charge, and then sometimes we'll call block. So, again, just take your eyes to, referee the defense and see where they are and how they're setting up.
And, I think that's an elephant in the room play.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to say a word on that play when you call block.
Home team might.
Yeah, she will. She will. She's going to say a lot. But even in that, okay, let's segue into what's next, okay? All right, that's time and distance. Roll that play again. Let's figure out whose play it was. Did the right person make the right call? Did the right person make the call on this play? Okay, let's stop. Stop it right there. Well, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. So we're going to, Bobby, is that you in the center?
Yeah, I'm C.
Okay, stop right there. So right now, all right, so the trail, the lead, the lead new trail, he's on the ball. So there's not a matchup right there on there. So what's next? All right, what's the next thing that can hurt the guy, the official on the baseline? What is the next thing that can hurt him in his area?
Illegal screen possibly, or a hold as they're coming through there.
All right. What's after that? So if he doesn't have so he's refereeing this one. So his next play would possibly be the illegal screen or someone holding, correct?
Yep.
All right. So Bobby, who's at the center, what is he refereeing right now?
He's got the backside of the potential screen.
So he's probably got number 10 and number 14 blue.
10.
Yep.
Okay. So now he's refereeing that. Once they go away, what is the next thing that can, what's the next player, where's the next player that can hurt Bobby in his area of primary?
Top of the key.
Top of the key. The defender in blue, top of the key. So now, if he gets himself in position for his next play, not in position for because this play right here at the number 10 and number 14, that play is over. So now he has to get in position for what's next. So now his primary on a pressing situation at the center is sideline to sideline, correct?
Yep.
Right. So now, sideline to sideline, Bobby is what's next is top of the key. So now he's already looking at what that defender is going to do. And first of all, he has to know what they can do. He has to know that if they are slicing, that they have to give him time and distance. he has to know that if she is going to guard the ball, she has to gain legal guarding position. What she can do to maintain it after she establishes. So right now, Bobby is in a really good position to referee his what's next. The trail, the official on the throw-in, he's in a good position to referee his what's next as well, which is the girl coming off the screen, and those two in the middle, because there's no competitive matchup on the baseline. Would everyone agree with that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So knowing your primary, that's why Bobby was able to make that call and have a decent judgment on that call when it happened, because he had already prepared himself for what's next. Do you guys understand that? So once you understand what your responsibilities are at your position, trail, the responsibilities at trail are perimeter, ball handler, dribbler. Shooter goes up, you are to bring the shooter up and down. And then what's next for the trail? After you protect the shooter, what's next? Somebody.
Rebounding.
Rebounding. Exactly. Center. The center is, their primary is free throw line extended to the opposite lane line, correct? All the way down to the baseline, and then, right? Well, not free throw line extended, but then they got the lane line all the way up to the top and all that stuff, right? Their responsibilities, ball is in their primary. They are responsible for the shooter, ball handler, dribbler. Shooter goes up and down. If there's a dribble drive to the basket on the C side, dealing with the primary defender, that's their play, correct?
Yep.
So you have to know exactly what your primaries are. The lead's primary, they're responsible for secondary defender for all dribble drives through the free throw line, correct? Correct.
Yep.
Secondary defender, they are responsible for C-side drives, secondary defender stepping up, they are to referee the RA, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Right? Their primary is strong side, free throw line extended to the sideline and down to the baseline, correct?
Correct.
Right? Shooter goes up, they are to bring the shooter up and down legally, and then they go to rebounding, correct?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so you always have to find out, knowing what's in your yard, you have to find out what the next area or the next person, where is the next person that can cause problems or that can force you to make a decision. Okay, so let's go back to the first play where Bobby called the offensive foul.
The short clip or the longer clip?
No, the long clip, the one from, that one, the LDB play. Okay, so I can't see everybody's faces. All right, so here we go. So Nicholas, you're on the ball. Hold it right there. Nicholas, you're on the ball. All right. You're the trail. So now, Nicholas, what are you looking at right now?
Ball's going away. It's likely going to go to the C side there. So I'm looking for potentially someone to come set a off-ball screen for 13 or 15 over here. Looking for her to cut. Is 22 going to be holding as the play goes over?
Is the ball still in your primary right now?
Yes, right now, yes. But
Okay.
what's next? I'm saying, right now I'm like, yes, I got a screen coming possibly. If ball goes over, I have potential cutter on the backside here, potential backside screen.
Okay.
And then,
do you like your positioning right now at the trail?
I'd probably be on the court more. Maybe
All
it's
right.
good, especially as the ball's going away from me. I like to kind of be maybe 2 more steps on the court.
All right. So from the trail, at this point right now, your what's next, as the ball starts to go away, your what's next is probably that next matchup opposite lane line, that right there, because that's the potential for a pick.
Right.
See that player right there? She's gonna set a screen or do something to get that ball handler to go to the other side. Right? So stay with that play until it clearly gets into the center's primary, because there's really nothing else going on. 1. 2, you don't want to let go of that play too soon, and then the center doesn't pick it up, and then we have a collision right there and nobody has a whistle. So you much rather stay on it too long than not long enough. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because we don't want to miss anything. All right. And so, Jocelyn, you're the center.
Okay.
What is your what are you looking at, and what is your what's next?
I'm looking at the cutter that's at the top of the elbow, and as the ball curls my direction to see if there's any type of illegal contact until the ball settles on my side.
Okay. And then what's next?
At this point, or when the ball settles?
No, right now. What's next?
Yeah.
Probably because they want to get that big girl open, so probably that player that's slashing down to the post, maybe setting a screen to get her open, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, Shannon, you're the lead. You're not in the picture right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what would you do differently, Shannon?
Whenever kind of notice that the ball is moving, I would just just make sure that I'm in a good position. So I'd probably get a little bit closer to the lane lines, like pinch a little bit, and then just to get ready to rotate if I need to.
Okay. Now, what would be your what's next?
I think that kind of that matchup that's on the opposite block might be my what's next, but I would still be keeping an eye on that matchup that's in front of me, but I don't think anything's really going to happen since the ball is going away. So just that opposite block potentially.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now let it roll a little bit. Okay, stop. Who's my trail? Hold on, stop. Stop.
It is stop.
Okay.
Go back.
Frank, stop.
All right. Okay, so now,
Bobby, stop it running.
Jocelyn, you're the center. Do you like your positioning? Somebody unmute Jocelyn. Jocelyn, you're the center. Do you like your positioning?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Which way would you move?
I would move up.
Okay. Now, we have to understand the more people that we can referee from one position, the more valuable we are. So at this position right here, she is the center is locked into only being able to referee 2 players.
No, sit down.
You see what I'm saying? So her what's next is only just that. So now if she goes topside, like Jocelyn wants to do, Jocelyn can referee this matchup here, but she can also see what that big girl is doing at the elbow right there, because that's the potential. That's another what's next, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you would like your position to be up. Shannon, you're the lead right now. Where would you like to be?
I'd like to be on the other side of the lane. So
Okay.
rotating.
So your rotation would have already started.
Yes. It looks
Okay,
like
cool.
he is kind of starting maybe a little bit, but
I'm on my way.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. And then now here's the thing. Remember, Shannon, you said you would have liked to have been closer.
Mm-hmm.
Had he been at close down when the ball was at the top of the key,
Mm-hmm.
he would have been 4 steps ahead. So count 4 steps, small steps, because he's little. He would have probably been at the RA now.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Which means he wouldn't have been late for the dump down to the player coming off of that screen.
Right, right.
All right. And who?
I do have a
Nick.
question about the C really
Go ahead.
quickly. So when we're talking about going topside, at what point do you make that decision? Because I just feel like it would be a lot of steps to do that right now, but should it have been, should that decision have been made maybe a few seconds earlier?
Yeah, like, okay, so it's stop right there. Actually,
Right
she's
there.
in good position
Yeah.
right there.
Okay.
She moves herself out of position. Had she stayed where she was, she would have been able to referee that play and the elbow play and the pick at the elbow. You understand what I'm saying? We want to be able to referee downhill. When I mean downhill is plays go to the basket. That's downhill. So if we can referee everything downhill, then we have a much better look. But if we have to look uphill and the play comes at us, going to the basket, it comes at us. And now we have to position adjust to get in the position to go downhill again.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So if she would have stayed where she was, she would have been perfectly fine. Because, anytime you got to lean, you got to move.
Almost looks like she took like an extra step and a half too much downwards. She just would have stopped in position and maybe even taken a half step higher or into the court to kind of get a better angle at maybe a swipe at the ball or whatever. She probably would have been in a lot better position.
So let's say Jocelyn, you would have stayed up top. You would have been in position to referee that play going to the basket with an open angle.
Well, I think not only that, like if you're stuck in this position right now and then you position adjust to take your step up, let's say that's what you do now, you might miss an illegal screen. You might miss an illegal screen that's going to happen, but you might not have the best view of having an opinion on the secondary defender. So if she had stayed where she was, she would have had an open view, not only to see the next play, but the play after that as well, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. It makes a lot of sense. And then who's my trail? Nicholas, you're still the trail. All right. So now what is your what's next, Nicholas?
I would hope that my lead's going to rotate, so my next is going to be coming down to the C. I'm looking for, if it's going to the hoop, this backside girl, she's going to be crashing down on a potential shot, potential pass into the paint, picking up any kind of secondary defender for a drive to the lane, as well as off-ball screen.
Okay. Now, are you in a position, let's say there's an RA play, are you in position to help out with the feet from where you are right now?
Yeah. Right now, yes. Where he is?
Yeah. No, that's you.
Where I am? Yeah, sorry. I would like to open up more. To me, it's like instead of he's facing the end line turning, as opposed to if you turn the body more, I think you get a better, especially if something goes the opposite direction. Instead of doing a complete 180, you can turn and go.
All right.
So unless he's walking down to rotate, which could be possible too.
All right. Do you think, because the center is out of position, Jocelyn is out of position, do you think that you could help out with that screen on the other side? Or
from where I'm at right now, I'm probably looking through that other defender on the top of the key there.
Okay. Or Shannon, you think you can see it?
I think, I would probably have a pretty good angle at it if I had to guess. Depending on where those players are lined up, I don't think it would be straight lined, but it would be a little bit of a stretch, but I think I could help.
So it is possible for two people to have the same what's next. All right. So understand that, because we do have one person's primary is another person's secondary. And if you don't have anything in your primary, you can extend your secondary to help out a little bit. Okay. You don't want to go and reach and get, anything ticky-tacky. But if it's something big, like an illegal screen that screens up that frees up a shooter or a cutter, and you can see it from the lead, that's your what's next. Go get it. All right. You're at the trail going to the center, and you can see, you know, your what's next is that illegal screen, that action area, which is the elbows, and you can see some illegal activity right there. Get it. Get it. I guarantee you, your crew will thank you, because if you don't get those, especially at the action area.
And it looks like the C in this case has, you know, kind of has their hands full. They've got pretty much 3 matchups right in their house.
Exactly.
Until the rotation's done. You know, so I think that the T, Nick in this case, you know, and then, you know, the lead as they're rotating over, just going to have to help out in that screening area, because you've got 2 matchups going on there.
So right now we got Jocelyn out of position. We got Shannon out of position. So right now our crew is at a disadvantage because we're not
fucked it up.
We're just not in a position.
Mess it up.
We're just not in a position.
Wrong
okay?
call.
Right?
Bobby was getting a popcorn.
All right, so
I
now the
was
ball.
caught watching and not following the ball. I stayed out. I didn't follow the ball. It was as it was initially dribbling over that way, and I should have been going. And by the time the pass is made, I should have been, you know, half to the F, and then pass, get over there, and now I'm in a spot where I don't have to run so fast. I'm there prepared for what's next.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So roll the ball again. And stop. So now, Shannon, if you would have left earlier, you would have been at the R prior to that pass again, and you would have taken more. You're probably taller than Bobby. So
I don't know how tall is Bobby.
Kevin, I'll take you to the post, bro.
Bobby is 2 inches taller than a legal midget. That's how tall.
I'm 5 inches taller than you.
So if you would have been at the R when the pass gone to the wing, 9 times out of 10 you would have been in a much better position because you were already in position to referee your what's next. All right, which was the RA and the LDB, correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay, so we've already established that, and we've already looked at the call. All right. So now, look at Jocelyn. Look at what you're doing now.
I just turned my back on my partners. I
Right.
had no idea if where the feet was. Probably don't know where the ball started. But I wasn't a part of the crew.
You're all messed up. So what would have been, okay, let's say you would have been topside and the pass would have gone to the post. Where was your what's next?
If I was topside, ball went into the post, I would have feet, right?
You would have
of the secondary defender just to have an opinion.
Okay. And you would also have rebounding because every shot is not guaranteed to go in.
Correct.
All
I
right.
was going to say that, it just didn't come out as fast.
I knew you were thinking it. I saw Ernie. Nicholas, do you like your position right here?
No, I'm looking right through 15. I can't see anything right now. I can see if the ball goes to the hoop, but who cares about that?
What if it goes in or doesn't go in and nobody has eyes on it and it's not a charge?
Huh. That's a good question.
Saying somebody's got to have eyes on it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Speaking from experience.
All right. So does everyone kind of understand the what's next mentality? You know, it's refereeing the next play. Because if you're concentrating on the play in front of you, then you're already late at the next one. Because these players are constantly moving, and we have to put ourselves in position to referee the play that we have and the possibilities of what's next. All right, you guys want to break down another one? What's next? Let's do one more. Yeah, let's do this one. This one, what's next? Let's do this one. Let's see. So, Shannon, you can't play anymore. Carolyn. Hi.
Hello.
So Carolyn, you are going to be the center. So the ball comes up.
Okay.
Ball comes all the way up, and you're the center. Right. Right there. Stop. You're the center, Carolyn. You like your position right now?
So I have too many players right in front of me. If I were to even take one step down, I could have a better angle.
All right. And what would be your what's next? What would be the next play you're looking, or your next area of concern for you at the center right now?
Area of concern would then be, so say if the ball passed over, then it'd be where the ball got passed, and then also look at the ball.
Okay. So if I'm the center right now, my what's next would be I would think of, okay, what is 11, the big for blue, what is she doing? And what number 10 is asking for the ball, and that's your point guard. So I would get in position, because my what's next would be, I would go top side, and that way I would be able to see what the defender number 5 is going to do, because she's the only defender in between those two players that are in front of you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So she's the only person that can hurt you defensively. So I would get in position to where I can see her. All right. So now, by getting in position to see her, if the ball is swung to number 10, I'm still in position to referee number 5 because I have an open look. Now, if number 10 decides to go to the basket, I still have the same open look, and I'm refereeing downhill.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Natasha, you're the trail. Do you like your positioning?
Trail.
That would be top of bottom screen.
I mean, it's okay, but I'm actually too close to the matchup that's right in front of me, to my left. And so for that reason, I would move back. From the standpoint, if blue 00 were to pass the ball to blue 21, I'm too close to be able to see any type of travels. And I like to be able to call travels. So I would back up just a little bit to give myself the opportunity to cover both my action areas that are in my primary.
Okay. What is your what's next?
What's next? If blue 21 comes up to set a screen, anticipate that. I also obviously see what's in the paint in terms of those particular competitive matchups, to make sure that there's no illegal contact there. So in essence, I'm kind of surveying the scene to see what's going to happen, but also in my head, I'm running through of, okay, who's going to do what, what's illegal, what's legal. That's my self-talk in my head.
Okay. Rachel, you get to be the lead. All right. We don't see you right now.
Mm-mm.
All right. So first of all, where should you be?
I probably like to be enclosed down at this point.
Okay.
So a little bit closer to the action.
And what would be your what's next?
Well, right now I've got my eyes on the 2 next to the RA, and depending on which way the ball goes, I might have awareness of 21 on blue if she's going to cut down and try to get to the corner 3 shot. So check for the bump and cutters, but I'll also have my eye on 11 blue, and see, seeing through the 2 that I've got my primary eye on, just making sure that she's maintaining legality.
All right, so the ball moves. Roll it, Jen. Okay, stop. Stop.
You want it before the contact?
Yeah, roll it back to when she starts to curl, because I want to see the movements of all
This
these.
time delay is killing me.
Yeah, human error. Don't worry about it.
Oh, human error? Really? You're in charge next week.
I don't want to be, I'm good.
We're all
I am in charge.
done for.
I delegate. That's being in charge. Okay, so now as the play leaves you, Natasha, are you comfortable with your positioning right now?
I'm comfortable from the standpoint I can see what the defender is doing and that she's in RA, but I'm not comfortable that I can't really see what the offensive player is doing.
Okay. All right. So as she goes away from you, what is your what's next? Where do you go?
What's next is to be able to help on the aspect of the RA, and then also rebound, right? Because we anticipate that she's going in for a shot. So obviously on shots, we're going to have rebound situations. So I'm trying to have an idea of what are all y'all going to do, and I have to be ready for that.
Okay. Rachel, you're the lead.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The play curls and it comes back down. What is your what's next?
Well, first of all, I'm not even sure I'm there. I think I went to dinner. I would have really appreciated somebody moving in a little bit, or myself.
You're a steak and shake.
Right. I mean, essentially, I'm going to look for something that is an elephant, but I mean, with the positioning that I have given myself, I've blocked myself out. So I have to trust the system in this scenario that, you know, I've got a back, and I can tell where feet are, but I'm kind of like Natasha. I wouldn't be able to see any contact, so I would need a better view to be able to call anything with certainty, in my opinion.
Okay. So the lead, dribble drives to the basket. What's your responsibility?
Drive to the basket?
Yeah, from the lead position, your responsibility on dribble drives to the basket.
Well, I've got the primary defender.
You have the secondary defender and the RA.
Well, there it is.
So here's a
secondary defender.
Here's a tidbit. Dribble drives to the basket from the lead. Your what's next is the RA. So instead of trying to find the defender, find the RA. Take your eyes to the RA. Find the feet. The feet are connected to a body. So if the feet are in, then you know it's a block, and then you look and see you look to see what body the feet are connected to. Correct? So your what's next is the RA. So no matter where you are, get in a position where you can referee the RA. And whatever feet show up there, you referee the feet and then find the body. Because if they're inside, it's a block. So you just go block, and you stand there and you wait until everything clears and be like, okay, that size 12 belongs to number 14. 14 white, block, RA, 2 shots. Okay? If they're outside of the RA and they're established, boom, offensive foul. Wait till the smoke clears. The offensive player gets up. Okay, good. 3 white, offensive foul. Wave the basket, no basket. 3 white, offensive foul. Okay. Now, who was Carolyn, you were my center. Are you still happy with your positioning here?
Well, since I have no competitive matchup in my area, I would have maybe taken one step up just to help out to see if the defender was outside the RA.
All right. Okay. So does everybody kind of get the concept of what's next? It's a lot of self-talk, but it's also knowing where you're supposed to be and knowing what your responsibilities are.
Yeah.
Does that make a lot of things easier for you guys? As far as,
Jocelyn's got a question.
Okay.
So you know how we were discussing earlier, like by rule, this would be a foul. Let's say this is the first whistle of the game too.
Okay.
Are we still, because I know like in some of my pre-games, like me and my partners, we talk about, let's make our first foul a good one, you know? So how would you go about this? Like if this was your first foul of the game?
Is the secondary defender established outside of the RA?
No.
It's a foul.
Are you supported by rule?
Yes.
It's a foul. Call it.
I was also, Jocelyn, think about this. When I said earlier, it's not a hard foul. It's not an egregious foul, but it definitely put the offense at a disadvantage. Right? And that's the definition of a foul. So though it's not impactful, it's impactful towards the offense because they lost potentially to 3 points.
You have to remember too that now with all these plays that coaches are sending in on officials, I don't think assigners are looking at them and saying, hey coach, what was the first call of the game? We're encouraging them not to call a foul unless it's like a hard foul. Or they're trying to set the tone, so we're gonna pass on that contact when that's not, in my case, like if I get plays in it on me, I've never had a coach say, that was the first call of the game, great job passing on that. Like that just that's never my luck.
That's a good
I
point.
will say that you have set the tone if that is your first call of the game. Like Kevin said earlier, I mean that's making you guys are paying attention to the RA. That also tells your partners and the crew, this is what we're calling tonight, and this is what we have to call tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
So, hey, Kev,
go ahead, Tasha.
Could I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that coaches complain about all the time is consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we lack in that area, if you don't think they're not going to call you out on that, you are sadly mistaken. So to me, if I put a whistle on that play, and literally if a coach says, really, that's the play you're going to put a whistle on, you know, if you have that kind of rapport with the coach, it can be that whole aspect of, well, coach, I know that you guys want us to be consistent, and that's what I'm striving to do tonight.
Exactly.
Like, really, what's the coach going to say? They're going to be like, well, okay, whatever. All right, you win that argument. I'll get you on the next one, you know. But if we don't put a whistle on that play, then they can scream, well, you're not being consistent. You aren't setting the tone. They know all this. Particularly, it's Gino Auriemma. Like, he knows basketball. I can't sit here and BS with him, right? He knows the rules. So on this play, he's definitely going to expect you to put a whistle, you know, on this play. To some extent, he's not going to like it in the moment, but he's going to understand why you do it. So think about it from this standpoint. If we were new officials in this league, he's never seen us work, right? And you come out and you put a whistle on the play. Yeah, he may say, oh, they're being a little too pure, or there really wasn't impact, but he also understands what your job is to do. And he's going to respect that ultimately in the long run. So to me, if we're adding to consistency, we're following what we are encouraged to follow and what we should follow, then we are setting the tone, we are setting the stage. And if he doesn't like that one, you know what? I'd rather him not like that one at 8:58 in the beginning of the game than at 58 seconds in the end of the game.
Right.
And that's, I have to admit, for me, that's something I had to learn. Like, oh my God, I'm in this big game, blah, 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 blah. But I had to learn that if I go ahead and put a whistle on that play, the coach is going to have an argument. That's fine. But in the long run, at the end of the game, they aren't going to have a foot to stand on, because they know that the rule is going to support us. And when they complain to our coordinator, guess what? Our coordinator can support us in those moments. And that's sometimes how we have to start to get to think. And it can take us a little while to get there. But when we start to do that, then it becomes less of my opinion and it becomes more of the job that I have been implored to do because I got the contract, right? And so we have to start to make that change. And then honestly, our decisions become a little bit better because it's not about me. It's about the job that I'm supposed to do. So if the coach doesn't like the job that I'm supposed to do, take it up with my signer. And when my signer comes back and says, they're doing the job that you expect them to do, then I go, thank you very much. And so we have to start to think like that. And that is kind of that difference in mentality, and actually makes our jobs a lot easier in the long run.
Right. Well said. So does anyone have any
I got
questions?
2 things, Kevin. I got 2 things. One, if you call this at 8:58 in the first quarter, you may not have to call it at 58 seconds in the fourth quarter at all.
Right.
And second point is our job is to referee the defense, correct? Anyone disagree with that? Well, if we are refereeing the defense, how can we not think about the impact of that on the offense? So whatever you do or don't call has an impact on that offense.
Right. Right.
That's
So,
all.
no, that's minor contact, major consequence. It's a foul. If it can be supported by rule, my suggestion is, I mean, especially if you're younger, I would say put more whistles than not on this stuff. You know, especially if you can be supported by rule, be pure. Be pure to the rule on these games. Make everything black and white for right now. If you have a problem managing the grays, don't make it gray. You know, in my pre-games, I like to tell them, everything right now is gray. When we put a whistle on something, we make it black and white. So if a play like that, that's a block. Make it black and white. That's a block. Then you don't have to worry about, you know, time, score, and all that other stuff. Okay? So does everyone feel better about legal guarding in RA and LDB plays now? They feel better now than they did before the call started. All right? Is everyone comfortable with what's next? You guys understand it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. I'm glad of that. Oh,
I
Keen, I didn't know you were here.
Mindset to have to just think about that. Like I would never even have thought about that. Like what to not anticipate, but just kind of know what could be coming. So I like that you guys went over that.
Yeah. What's next? That's popular. It's popping. There's gonna be some T-shirts and hats coming out soon. Look out!
Trademarked. Kevin Dillard.
I'm trademarking. It's already in the works. We got logos and everything working out right now. What's next? That's the next big thing. All right, y'all look out for it. So we went a little long. I mean, it's an hour and a half. I tried to cut it a little bit short. But if you guys don't have any questions, I don't. Are you guys positive? No questions, comments, concerns? No.
If something comes up during the week,
I
reach
do have
out.
one.
Who has one?
I know. I was going to say, when you were running this in real time, was it actually running real time?
Yeah.
Because okay. I'm having an issue because I'm not seeing that, and I'm just seeing stop. So I wasn't seeing in real time. So I had to figuring out by what you were saying what was actually going on. So I couldn't see it in real time.
All right. So
I hope to get it.
You'll get it next week. Jen, what are we supposed to cover next week?
I don't know. You changed it.
I did change it. All right, so let's work on we're gonna do travel plays. All right, we're gonna do find the foot. What's a travel, what's not a travel. Okay.
Who has a really hard time calling travels?
Honestly. All right, Shannon. Ding, 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 ding. So Shannon, you get to work with Rachel, and you guys are gonna work on travel. Find the foot. What's a travel, what's not a travel? Okay?
Got it.
All right. And Mr. Jason.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Mr. Jason,
right.
You get to send us into the week with something positive.
Oh boy. I'd say, one thing I picked up, from reffing, and this actually comes from either being a mentor or actually back when I was starting, was I actually carry this into our pregame once in a while, and I think we touched base on it 2 weeks ago. Finding one or two small things to work on before the next meeting, before the next game. So it might be, hey, I'm not doing so well on travels. Maybe I'm going to read up on that. Or my mechanics are shoddy. I'm going to practice in the mirror doing whatever.
Okay.
Pick out the small things and work on those small things, and those small things make a lot of good big things.
That's beautiful. All right, guys. Let's see. Rachel, you got anything?
No, I just appreciate everybody being here. You're doing the good stuff. You're doing the small things that make the big things happen. So keep it up.
All right. We will get your homework to you a lot sooner than Thursday. That's my fault. I'll take that one. So we can keep you guys engaged with that. Jennifer, you have anything?
Yeah. Guys, be good to each other. If you, not even just to each other, I mean, to everyone. A lot of people are struggling, a lot of people unhappy, a lot of people stressed. Take the time to give someone a smile. Hello. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while, give a phone call, write a letter, paper, pen, mail. Keep the postal service surviving.
Pen pal.
All right, guys. That's it. That's our kumbaya moment. You all have a great weekend. We will see
Jen,
you guys. Go ahead.
Jen, I had a quick thought, or Kevin or Rachel, whoever's putting these together. It's Jen, but for some people who may have connectivity issues, if you have plays, to maybe drop them in a Google Drive folder and then just send the link out, then at least they can watch it at their own pace on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Then the actual conversation itself. That sometimes
Definitely
works well.
do that.
Yeah.
If someone gets their plays to me before Thursday.
So you guys, Rachel and Shannon, you guys have to have your plays in by Tuesday. All right.
I kind of feel like I would get an extra phone call from Jen if I didn't. So
Yeah, so you guys have your plays in. We'll get the plays to you guys no later than Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning. So that way everyone has time to look at the plays, get their homework done, and then we can all be prepared and we won't be on a meeting for an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes.
And I challenge you, if you guys have really good traveling plays, send them to Rachel. Send them to Shannon.
Please do.
All right, y'all. Y'all be good. Don't take no wooden nickels. Wooden nickels, they don't spend. Come on now. Don't look at me like that, Jocelyn.
I'm going to give you an old joke, but I'm not going to. I'll be nice.
All right. I'll see y'all later. Y'all be good.
Good
Thank you,
night,
guys.
everybody.
It's
Stay
Kevin.
well
Kevin,
and
short
safe.
jokes.
Bye.
Stay healthy.
Job, Alyssa. Job, Abby.
Hey, thank you all. It's good.
Thanks.
Nice
Man.
job.
Well
Way to be
done.
a leader.
KD, I've had
Thank you. Good job.
What up?
Stop with the short jokes.
Oh, come on, man. You taller than me. What are you talking about? You are taller than me. It's all good. Well, I gotta go to work, so I'm getting ready to go to bed.
All right, see y'all later.
Rachel,
Night.
we'll recap manana.
Yeah, I'm around.
That's fine with me. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rachel.